The governor has issued a disaster declaration related to public health concerns caused by the statewide COVID-19 pandemic. As acting chair of the Zoning Board of Appeals, I've determined that an in-person meeting is not practical or prudent because of the risk of exposure to COVID-19 virus stemming from an indoor gathering, and that a remote meeting is in the best interest of the health, safety, and welfare of the board, staff, and general public. Okay, and again, I do have 5 o'clock, so if we can call the meeting to order, if I could get a roll call, please.
Sure. Mr. Schaub, Mr. Blakeney,
Here.
Ms. Brand,
Here.
Mr. Penn, Mr. Palmgren,
Here.
Mr. Sampson,
Here.
and Mr. Anderson.
Here. Okay, has everybody had a chance to take a look at the minutes from our last meeting? And are there any additions, changes, corrections, anything of that nature to note?
No.
Oh, I make a motion,
No.
we accept the minutes as presented.
I'll second that.
Okay, and if you would call for a vote, please.
Sure. Mr. Blakeney,
Yes.
Mr. Palmgren,
Yes.
Ms. Brand,
Yes.
Mr. Sampson,
Yes.
Mr. Anderson.
Yes. Okay, the first item that we have on our docket tonight is item number 20-11-16-V. It's a driveway variance for the property located at 1125. Is that Traverton or Traverton? or-
Travertine.
Thanks,
Travertine.
Travertine.
Thank you. All right, and then Ms. Davison, if you'd like to give us a background synopsis of that.
Sure. So I put up on the screen the photo of the home. It's almost completed as far as construction goes. It's obviously a 1-story with 2-car garage. Much like cases you have heard recently, the owner would like to have a driveway that is 3-car widths instead of just the 2-car width. They propose ending that 3rd space at the face of the home. I think there's a drawing of it. Yes, I think that's it. But as you know, per code, you have to take the concrete pad along the side of the house so that that 3rd space is behind the face of the home. We are recommending in favor of this because we think the code, we're kind of probably going to be moving forward with a code amendment on this. And it's similar to a couple that you've seen relatively recently. Anything you want to add, Greg?
No, although I will say from a timing perspective, just given the climate we're in right now, it's probably nothing that's going to happen right away. And so you're probably looking at maybe next building season, by the time we run this through a process and formalize it. So I guess I would just ask Mr. Trunk, I know this is the second time he's come through with this. Keep that in mind. And I guess not to put the zoning board in a position of authorizing these as they occur, because that's where we're at again today. I think as we sit here, that the pad has been poured. We don't like to do things after the fact. So, if there's a desire from a homeowner in the future to have a pad, let's make sure we actually get it considered by the board first.
Gotcha.
Thank you. Yep.
Thank you.
Okay, do we have anyone from the general public here to speak to this tonight, or anybody that would like to add?
No one asked. Well, no one asked to speak from the general public, but Mr. Trunk may want to add to something I've said, but there's no one else here but him.
Okay.
Yeah. So I would say, it seems like.
Is this Mr. Trunk speaking?
Yeah. Sorry, this is Marty Trunk.
Okay, because I can't see you on the screen, so here.
Really?
Okay. No, I can't. Maybe if I scroll down here, I can see here. But if you would do me a favor, okay, I got you now.
Okay.
If you would just raise your right hand and just affirm that what you're about to tell us is the truth.
It's the truth.
Thank you. And then again, if you would state your name and your address.
Sure. Martin Trunk, 1310 Joan Way, Normal, Illinois. Owner of Trunk Bay Construction, Inc.
Thank you.
Yeah, and you're welcome. This is the second request we've had from the homeowner. It seems like we're moving more in the direction of 2-car garages with a little bump to help shave expenses. And everybody's probably aware, but new home expenses continue to rise, sometimes faster than the general public would care for. But doing the 2-car garage is becoming more common for us, and people do want what I'm going to say is a little extra space. We have not been proponents of it, just so I want to get that on the record. We have not pushed it. It's the requests that have come from the homeowners. So we're trying to accommodate the request of our client.
Anything else you'd like to add?
No?
Okay. Do we have any questions for Mr. Trunk? Okay.
Nope, I have none.
Okay, thank you. And then do we have any other folks here to speak to this project?
We do not.
Okay, thank you. We'll go ahead and close the public portion of this then. Any questions for staff at all? Normally, it's a general question we'll ask. Have we heard anything from any adjacent properties or any other neighbors with regards to this?
We have not.
Okay. Any other comments or questions that any board members would like to ask at this time?
So just for clarification, the cement has already been poured, is that correct?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Okay.
And I would like to, if I could add that
We'll
more
open.
because of weather-related issues, we took the risk of it being denied, and we cut it out. But based on the weather, and now fortunately we have 70-degree weather, but that's not the norm. And so we were trying to get it in. So trying not to offend anybody, but that's kind of why that happened the way it did.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome.
I do have a question. The existing pour, since it is in already, is off of the required side yard. That,
Yes, sir.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, if I could, Mr. Anderson, I want to dovetail on what Mr. Trunk offered, which is true, but when they actually filed the application, the pad had not been poured yet. And so in follow-up to their request from a month or two ago, they did the right step. They filed application, and as Mr. Trunk indicated, yeah, weather at this time of year, this is pretty unusual to have this kind of temperatures but not knowing that a couple weeks ago, I think they took the step to pour it. So I don't think it was done maliciously. It's just, the only thing I will say is we are supportive of trying to get this code amendment changed, but timing is just something we have to deal with. But this is the kind of thing that can be contagious in a neighborhood where they just take it upon themselves to hire a contractor in an existing home and just do what the neighbor across the street did, not knowing that they went to a zoning board. So we do want to get it rectified at some point. So, but it's probably going to be next spring or summer.
Thank you. I appreciate that clarification.
Yep.
Any other questions for staff?
I have none.
No,
Okay, I'd certainly
I don't have
entertain-
any.
Okay, thank you. I certainly entertain a motion.
I would make a motion that we approve the request as stated.
I'll second.
If you would call for a vote, please.
Sure. Ms. Brand,
Yes.
Mr. Sampson,
Yes.
Mr. Palmgren,
Yes.
Mr. Blakeney,
Yes,
Mr. Anderson.
Yes. variation request has been approved. I'm not sure that there's whether there's a need to continue to work with staff on this. I assume to some degree, but it has been approved.
Thank you very much.
You're free to leave the meeting or stay if you would like to. Either way is fine.
I'm gonna leave if that's okay.
We will not take it personally.
Okay, thank you very much.
All right, the next item we have on our agenda here is item number 20-11-17-V. It's a rear yard setback for 1815 Partridge Point. Yes, Partridge Point. And again, Ms. Davison, if you'd like to give us a little background on this one.
Sure. I will first point out. Whoa, am I echoing?
Yep.
Terribly.
Maybe everyone else on mute.
No, do you have to open item? Look at your taskbar.
Me?
Yeah, there you go. Okay.
I say I haven't done anything different. So, so you might notice that in the first version of this report that you received, the picture of the house was not this. That's because the picture I used was not the house. This is the house, the one you're looking at now. So that is a cut and paste error. So this is the house we're talking about. It is on Partridge Point. The lot is here. So right now the house sits about 36 feet off the property line, the back property line, and the required setback is 35 feet. So they have a foot more. They would like to add a covering over, like a roof over their concrete patio. And you can do that and encroach by 10 feet into the required 35-foot yard. But the dimensions of this are such that they would be encroaching a bit more by 6 more feet. So they need a variance for that. As I noted in the report, the posts would be wrapped in cedar, and I'm sure it would be attractive. The roofing materials would match, etc. And I have like a picture of the backyard. It's not a good picture, but it's all we could get from the other side, the other road, essentially. The yard isn't quite as big as it looks. It's basically to where the mowing stops. But that's, basically the patio back there. So they're just asking for a rear yard setback variance. Oh, you're on mute, Todd.
Yep, I just realized that. Thank you. Thank you for the background there. Do we have anyone present that would like to speak to this or have anything they'd like to add?
The contract.
Go ahead.
I'm sorry.
I'm just the contractor on this project.
Okay, if you would do me a favor and state your name, if you'd raise your right hand, I guess your right hand, state your name and your address, please.
It's Victor Grethy, 34800 Illinois Route 9, Mackinac, Illinois.
Thank you. And if you just affirm that what you're about to tell us is true.
It is.
Thank you. Okay, please.
So this covering of the patio, if you see there's a tree in their backyard, this covering of the patio would be short of the current tree. The tree would stay where it's at, and it would be, I don't know, I think I measured 4 or 5 feet back toward the house. So there would be no disturbance there. It would just be a covered cedar with a starburst, all stained wood underneath, and then shingles to match. Won't be any vinyl siding. It'll all be done in cedar.
Thank you. Do we have any questions for Mr. Ruffy at all? I do have one question. I'm just curious if there were any other plans or any other design that was considered aside from this one? I know, again, there's only a 1 foot space there, but I'm just curious if there were any other design concerns or
No, if this one was approved, this would be the third one in the neighborhood. The neighbors there to the right there just built one that's sort of the same design. It's all cedar, cedar or car siding up on the ceiling. Pretty much just all stained. Some of them are clear. We built one down the street earlier this year, and they're all pretty much of the same design.
Yeah, I think the big discrepancy or the big difference here is the lot is a lot different here probably than the others, and that's the reason for the variation.
Correct. That would, that would just give enough room to cover the patio, so you could have a table out there and things like that.
So based on the photo I'm showing now, the aerial photo, is if this helps, like, is the covering going roughly over the existing concrete pad or further out?
Well, it actually goes, I think, 3 feet beyond the end of the patio. Or I'm sorry, it's 2 feet beyond the end of the patio.
And I have to see whether I'm not, okay. So this is Gary Blakeney. And so that the roof covering of this would have a 2 foot overhang past the physical dimension of the patio itself, the concrete.
1
Is that
foot.
correct? 1 foot?
1 foot, yeah.
Oh, 1 foot. Okay. All right. So it would, dimension wise, it's out, projects 17. So the roof would be 18 feet.
That would be correct.
Correct? Okay.
Yes.
Okay. I have no further questions.
Do any others have any questions at all for Mr. Gruffy?
No.
Okay, we'll go ahead and close the public portion of this here. And then do we have any questions for staff at all?
This is Darren. My only question was around the Bob White Way road behind this property. Is staff aware of development plans for finishing up that stretch of houses along that and finishing that road, or any timeline on that?
You want me to get it, Mercy? Well, yeah, no, good question, Mr. Sampson. And yes, there is. If you can go back to one of the other photos that actually would show that, they actually have, that's what's called the 12th edition, which will be the last edition to Pheasant Ridge. Construction plans have been submitted, and so there was an attempt to try and get something going yet this fall, but they ran into some timing issues. So next spring, you'll see the roadway extension connect those two together, and infrastructure will go in. And so I think there was like 30 homes, Mercy, that are left in that addition approximately. So yes, there will be development, and basically consistent with what you see on both sides of Bob White Way.
Okay. Thank you.
This is Keith. I have a question for staff. Did we hear from any of the neighbors surrounding this particular piece of property?
We did not. No.
Okay.
Do we have any further questions?
No, I have none.
I don't really have a question as much as a statement. It's an odd shaped piece of property. I think we can all agree on that. And not knowing exactly what's going to go behind it, So I just want to be clear. So from the end of the roof line to the property line is how many feet?
Okay, I have to do the math out loud here. So the house is at 36 feet now, and that's the face of the back of the house, not the overhang. So it's at 36 feet, and this would project out 17 feet. So how many feet
19.
would be left?
19 feet
Okay.
left. Okay.
Mhm.
We'll help you, Mercy. Don't worry about it.
Math under pressure. It's not fair.
The roof line would be at 18 feet, so you'd have
Yep.
18 feet.
I have no
That's it.
further
And-
questions.
Okay, yeah, and then just to follow up on Mr. Grethy's comment that he's being super open with this too as well, but essentially our setbacks are to the structures themselves. So in this case, it would be the post. So he's openly said, well, yes, with the roof structure itself, it would be, a foot less, but you're entitled to have overhang into the setback up to 2 feet. So we're really talking about the post location, but it's a foot either way.
Yeah.
So it's basically a 6-foot encroachment to those posts.
Right.
Okay.
Thank you. Again, any other questions at all? And if not, I'd certainly entertain a motion.
I move that we approve the variance as requested.
I'll second that.
And if you would call for a vote, please.
Sure. Mr. Palmgren,
Yes.
Mr. Sampson,
No,
Ms. Brand,
Yes.
Mr. Blakeney,
No,
Mr. Anderson.
Yes.
Okay. So that's 3-2, according to my calculations.
Variation request has been approved.
All right, well, thank you very much for your time.
Sure, and then you can continue to work with Troy on permits and whatnot.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thanks, Victor.
Thank you.
All right, and it looks like the third item on the agenda here has been carried over to next month, possibly.
That's correct.
Thank you.
And Jason Q, we don't need any sort of action, right? Because the applicant requested that it be carried over.
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay.
Mercy, haven't they actually already requested it be carried over to January?
Yes. Well, let's see. You know what? Yeah, they did. So it's going to get carried over again at the next meeting. Yeah.
And we will have a meeting in December?
Yes, there's been an item filed.
Okay.
Okay, anything else for the good of the group here? Okay,
No,
none.
nothing from us.
I would take a motion to adjourn.
I make a motion to adjourn.
I'll
Second that.
Gary.
And if we could get a vote, please.
Sure. Mr. Blakeney,
Yes.
Ms. Brand,
Yes.
Mr. Palmgren,
Yes.
Mr. Sampson,
yes.
Mr. Anderson.
Yes.
Happy Thanksgiving, y'all.
All
Yeah,
right.
have a great Thanksgiving,
Yeah.
everyone.
Everyone.
Yes,
Same
thank
to
you.
everybody.
Bye.